I'm Hailey.
I'm Sean.
And welcome to Hailey Hates Everything.
I pick a surprise topic.
And I get high and opinionated so we can discuss it together.
So grab a snack and hang out with us for
Hailey Hates Everything.
Welcome to another episode of Hailey Hates Everything. I'm Sean, the co-host. And as ever, the main co-host, Hailey.
Yo! Yo! Yo, 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 yo! I don't know where that came from. It just felt right.
How you doing?
Well, here's the thing. We just got back from vacation. We failed you in getting an episode out, so we're trying to make up for it. I also have a splint on my hand. Like, you know, it's one I can remove. It's not like a cast or something. But I have some kind of tendon issue in my right hand, which I use for everything, you know.
Yeah.
And it's hurting, and it's difficult to do anything I need to do, quite frankly. So it's probably brought on by a lot of schoolwork and note-taking and blog stuff that I've had to do, lots of tippy-tappy computer work. And, you know, I still got to get that shit done.
Plus, you are extreme in everything you do, including writing and mousing.
Yeah. I have realized that. So we just got back from vacation. We had a great time in northeastern Oregon.
Yes.
Oregon's largest wilderness, the Wallowa County area. Very pretty. I highly recommend going.
Yeah, go to Joseph.
Yes, don't go to Enterprise or actual Wallowa. You can go through there. There's a grocery store there. That's where you're going to have to get groceries. But you can stay in the little town of Joseph, Oregon. It was very lovely. And so I'll talk about that stuff on my blog and have vacation photos and all that as soon as I can. Anyway, on vacation, I realized I am very intense at everything I do. Yes, I mouse hard. I go hard with the mouse. I want to make sure the clicks count, you know? Writing, yes, I write hard. I write even. I like it to be a certain way. I've been like that my entire life. I had to get a special notebook for all of my class stuff. Well, it's now multiple notebooks. So I could take all my notes because I press so hard. So I need a thicker paper that can withstand the pressing. Anyway, I just realized that I'm very intense in everything I do. And I think it scares the people away. I'm even very intense with my love, and it scares things away. Like, I love animals, and we saw a lot of deer. And if they were close to the road and we could roll down the window and take photos of them, I would say, "Oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, hello. Oh, you're so precious. You're so loved." and wave. I would wave like a goober, like they were going to wave back, right? I just love animals. And, you know, I scare them with my love. And it just dawned on me, maybe I do that to humans as well. So, yes, fucked up my thumb somehow, some way. And I'm hoping that it gets better because I have to use my thumb. It's evolutionarily there for a reason. And I need it. So, you know, send up good vibes or whatever you do if you can spare a few. For my thumb.
Alternatively, you could try and rewire your brain to be ambidextrous like I am. So you can just kind of do whatever you want with either side. It works well.
Oh, yeah. You know, you could just be ambidextrous like I am. And then it wouldn't matter if your thumb got messed up or not. That's basically like you're pushing up your glasses. You've got your little pocket protector. Thanks, nerd. I wish it was that easy.
In soccer, I could play both sides. It was sweet.
Oh, okay.
Ping pong?
Really?
Oh, yeah. I'll start off left-handed. And they'll be like, oh, okay. And then I'll switch to right, pound it in. Yeah.
You're so weird. Is it, do you bowl that way too? Is it like all a sports thing where you start on the left and switch to the right?
Hells yeah.
Did you grow up using one or the other or both? Like writing and everything?
No, school kind of like pushes you to be right-handed.
So how did you realize you could use the other one for stuff?
I think just like soccer was the main thing that got me started in trying to do it both ways.
Well, that's with your feet, though.
Yeah, exactly.
So then you thought this could just travel to your hands, and your hands would be also ambidextrous?
Yes.
So you willed it to happen? Is that what you're saying? Why? I don't understand how. Yeah, we can use both feet for stuff. Like, that just seems normal. Yeah, we can use both feet for things. It doesn't. You don't.
Well, see,
Why would you just be like, oh, both of my feet work for the same kind of activity? Let me see if my hands do that too. I don't get where that goes. How do you figure that out?
Not everybody has, like, good aim and power with both feet.
Oops, sorry. I hit the microphone. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could favor one leg over the other in a way. But it's not the same thing as hands, though. Why are you laughing at me?
I don't know. I think it is. It's
how?
It's because it's the sides of your body are controlled by different sides of your brain. So it's a matter of, those parts of your brain communicating or having the same skills on both sides of your brain, sort of.
Yeah, I don't get how you would see your feet doing things and then be like, what about my hands? I really don't understand how that comes into play. That's the part I'm having an issue with at this moment in time, is that correlation, like, oh, I can kick a ball with 2 feet. That's amazing. Not just my right one or not just my left one. I wonder if that can translate to hands. Can I do the same thing with both my hands? I just don't get it. I just don't see how you would make that comparison immediately.
I don't know. Perhaps I was told I was ambidextrous because I could work both sides of the field well. So then I accepted that.
Believed it.
I accepted that as part of me, that I was ambidextrous, and then moved forward with that through the rest of my life.
I feel like you're humble bragging in a very specific way that's now pissing me off. You're like, you know what? Someone told me I was amazing, and then I just took it in and believed it, and it's gotten me through everything in my life. That's essentially what you just said. You know what?
Somebody told me I could be a star. So I was like, okay, I'll accept that to myself, and I'll be a star.
And that's how it happened. That's essentially what you just said.
This sounds like the beginning to, like, the Bieber story or something, like, people said I was a star, yo. They said my voice was amazing. I took that into myself. I made it a part of me, and I excelled.
Is how you're Justin Bieber?
Yes.
You've never heard him talk, have you? That's hilarious. Oh my god. Oh, Jesus. Fucking Justin Bieber. Oh, shit. I just hurt my hand.
Oh, my God.
It hurts.
Jesus. What did you even do? You're just sitting there.
I don't know. I moved it somehow and it popped. It did its little pop. Let me tighten this up then. Oh, we're going tight. Okay. I'll try not to move it now.
Okay, you do that.
I talk a lot with my hands. And so I'm, naturally moving them around. And then
especially since you're right-handed.
Yeah. Well, no one told me I was ambidextrous, so I've lived my whole life just using one hand. That's all I can do, because that's all I was ever told I was a right-hander.
See? I mean, it limits you.
Oh my god. You know what? So this isn't even the podcast. Like,
no,
we haven't even started whatever we're going to do today. And I feel like we should probably, get going. That was a solid 10 minutes of just riffing. That's not planned. None of this is planned. This is all off the seat of my head. What do they say? What is the seat one? Off the seat.
Get there. Come on.
Hold on, y'all. I'm high. By the seat of your pants. I knew. Oh, I'm probably talking really loud and I'm going to have to edit this weirdly and it's going to be a pain in the ass. But anyway, this isn't even the podcast yet. We're not even into the meat. And so I would take this opportunity to say, Sean, where's the beef? What have you got for us today? What is the topic? What are we discussing? Because I don't know.
Well, I figured we go off of vacation activities.
Okay.
And do some talking about anti-fat bias in outdoor activities.
Wow. That's a topic.
Mainly about our experiences during our vacation.
Okay. No, okay. I'm ready.
All right. Number 1.
Oh, you got numbers? You're just jumping in with the list. All right. Number 1.
We went kayaking.
Okay. Okay. So I see. I thought you were going with a list of stuff, like all of a sudden, and I was like, do I have to take notes? What is happening? You're just talking. Here's the first thing we're going to talk about that we did on vacation that also has to do with the anti-fat bias in outdoor activities.
You got it. Yes.
Yeah. So we went kayaking.
Yeah.
And I've got some things to say. Now, I do want to do a blog post about it and write everything out because I like doing that too. But I guess, let's just jump into this because, man.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would say there's probably, a bias that non-fat people feel, and then also a bias that fat people feel about doing outdoor activities.
What bias do non-fat people feel about outdoor activities?
Well, they're like, that fat person doesn't need to be doing... What are they doing that? That sort of bias.
Oh, so that... You mean what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Not
I guess so.
Some kind of thing that's against them.
Yeah.
No, I was about to get real pissed off when I was like, wait a fucking second. I wish a motherfucker would tell me that thin people are being kept out of outdoor activities. I was about to bust some ass. Don't come to me with that shit. Okay, so yes, there's the idea that a lot of people have. Number 1, that fat people can't do outdoor activities.
Yeah.
That somehow our bodies are incapable of climbing a mountain or swimming or riding in a boat or snorkeling or skiing or name any other outdoor activity. There's not a lot of outdoor gear and clothing for plus size people.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of, like backpacks that have large enough straps or things that are wide enough or can have a certain weight limit, like there's so many ways in which we are kept out of the equation.
Yeah.
Even if we want to do these things, even if we're capable of doing these things. Because just as, not every thin person is capable of climbing a mountain or going skiing or rock climbing or whatever. Yeah. Everybody's body is different. So, some plus size people can, some can't. Just as any other body type.
Absolutely.
And it really pisses me off all of it pisses me off. But, there's always this like, well, fatty, you should exercise. And then when we exercise, they're like, fatty's exercising. You shouldn't be here. You don't belong. Like, what the fuck, dude? Anyway, it pisses me off.
Well, and there's also, like, I mean, we've definitely experienced, like, people be like, hey, good job, which...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, okay, sure.
That's
yes,
very condescending.
Thank you, but you're not necessarily going to be telling everybody along the trail, like, hey, good job, keep it up.
Oh, no, it's just because you're fat. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh, well, congratulations for getting your ass out and doing something. But I know that people usually mean well because they want to be encouraging.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because they know it's a space that we're not in. But more than often, it's like, oh, good, fatty's exercising. Good job giving it a go, fatty. Good for you. That's what it sounds like. And I know that's not everybody's intention when they do that. But as a fat person, knowing how often I am looked at in an outdoor space as like being either trying to lose weight or I shouldn't be there. Like, why am I even trying kind of thing? Or like, oh, poor fatty, she can't do it, but she's at least trying. Like, that sort of, sympathetic look. And, not everybody wants to do something fun outdoors just to lose weight.
Yeah.
And especially for people who have grown up with a diet culture narrative being shoved down their throat, the idea of having to exercise for exercise is very detrimental to my mental health, because my mom would always, anytime I was having fun, well, you should stand this way and you should suck your stomach in and you should do it longer and you should do it harder and do this more often and blah, blah, blah. Nothing could just be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing. It always had to be because you want to lose weight, you want to change, you want to be, thinner, and thinner equals better and all this bullshit.
Yeah.
And so for me, thinking of, well, I need to exercise this amount of time or, whatever, that doesn't motivate me to want to do it, because it feels like a punishment to my body. Like it feels like a shameful thing.
Yeah.
Because I was told pretty much my entire life, I mean, people still say to this day, that my body is wrong and shouldn't exist as it is. It has to be thinner, or it shouldn't exist at all. And the idea of needing to change it and like losing weight, having to do any kind of activity to lose weight, feels very detrimental to my mental health. It adds to my depression. It adds to my anxiety. Yeah. Oh, well, if I'm doing this, I have to lose weight. Well, what if I don't lose weight? Not everybody's body's metabolism is the same. Yeah. Everything's going to be different. But, activities can be fun. And you can do them just to have fun. Yes. But maybe there is exercise that comes with that. You are moving your body in some way. But you don't have to move your body to lose weight. Yeah. And activities can just be something that you do because you like them. And I just feel like that whole part of the conversation is usually fat people are left out of. Like, we can't just have fun. It's got to be, well, if you're doing it, then you're doing it to lose weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not you just enjoy it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hate that attitude. But there's also all of the other attitudes that are sort of thrown at a fat person. And I think a lot of the times too, as fat people, and I'm using the word fat, it's not a negative or positive thing. I know people have like issues with that word a lot of times, because it has been used as an insult, all the time. Still is. Yeah. But I don't mind calling myself fat, because it's just a descriptor. That's just what I am. That makes people understand. It's just easier than plus size all the time. So what was I saying before I did all that? Okay. I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought. And let's circle back to kayaking. So I've wanted to try kayaking for a while. And around my birthday in May, I thought about it, because there was an REI class that was close. And I thought I'd go check it out, but I wasn't quite sure if they had boats that would work for me, because there are different weight limits to different kayaks. And so I messaged them, and they didn't know. They had to get an answer, and then they just sent me here are the kayak names and models. These are the ones that we're using. And so I had to look those up myself. Anyway, it really did make me doubt whether I should do it or not, just because it didn't feel like it was inclusive enough space. If they didn't even know if they would have, I feel like you should know what your weight limits are when someone messages you about it. Otherwise, you haven't thought about that. And if my body hasn't been thought about in that space, then probably, you might not be thinking of me and have stuff to fit me or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, here's the thing. I let Sean plan a vacation because I have been so swamped with work, and I just couldn't take on the stress of planning a vacation myself, but we needed to get out of town. So I let him do it. I didn't want to know anything till it was time to pack, quite honestly. But we had talked about kayaking, and I was like, well, do they have boats that I can fit in? Do they have a certain weight limit? And to be fair, we're both fat people. So it's stuff that you have to know for yourself as well. It's not like you're just completely oblivious to that. Like if you were thin, you probably wouldn't completely understand all of the different aspects of things
Yeah.
that I have to deal with as a fat person. Anyways, I was like, well, Sean, they have different kinds. Like, is it this kind? Is it that kind? What is the weight limit? Did you ask about this? Do they have vests that will fit us? Like, what's going on? And once he figured that out, yes, 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 I was like, okay, and I felt really good about it. I was very excited to do it. I was very nervous, mainly getting in the kayak and out of the kayak because I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to look like a fool.
Yeah.
And I want to seem like I kind of know what I'm doing, even though I'd never kayaked before. So how could I know completely? But that was the main thing. Like I wasn't worried about balancing in the boat. I was pretty sure I could fit, and be comfortable in it. I wasn't worried about paddling. My arms are good, aside from my wrist right now. And it was the getting in and getting out that I was super, super nervous about. And just the general attitude of the rental people and how they would view us.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there aren't a lot of plus size people that are out in this space because we've always been told we shouldn't be there.
I was kind of thinking about is there's like, I think we've maybe covered kind of like some of the biases and stuff, at least somewhat. And then there's the fears of fat people of like, am I going to be able to do this? Are people going to look at me? There's gear. Like, am I going to be able to get the gear needed to be able to do this? So, and then kind of like educating yourself. So like what you're kind of getting into there is kind of like the gear for this. So people might not understand, like, personally, at least myself, I need like wide width shoes. So if we're, going hiking or doing different activities, can I find, hiking boots that come in a wide width? So, and then even like rain jackets. Am I going to be able to find a waterproof jacket that's going to fit me? Hiking pants. Am I going to find ones that fit? What's going on?
Yeah, because a lot of outdoor companies, they don't have very inclusive sizing. They might go up to a 3X, and usually it's a slightly smaller version of that. I found that at least this one style of pant from Columbia in a 3X actually fits me, and I really, really like those. But a lot of their shirts are not big enough, although I do have a few that are. But the really hard thing for me, and as a woman, I wear an 11 wide, so that's something else I have to look out for. And a lot of people have a wider foot or just, more foot for the shoe. And a lot of them are made so narrow.
Yeah.
Now, before we went on our big UK trip, which we knew we were going to do hiking stuff and we needed waterproof jackets and that kind of thing, I spent so much time trying to find a hiking boot that was waterproof.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot under like $130. So there's also that sort of fat tax where, and these are really good shoes, by the way. So like a lot of really good shoes are $130. But as far as clothing goes, there is the fat tax. So like if you're over a size, 1X, then you have to pay $3 more for something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like with Old Navy, the old plus size stuff used to never be on sale.
Yeah.
And the plus size men's clothing, now all the clothing they had moved online, so there's nothing in store that you could try on. But when you ordered the plus size stuff, the men's stuff could be returned to the store, but the women's stuff had to be returned via mail. And it's just those extra little things that just make it so much worse. And, they wouldn't have sales on plus size stuff. They'd have it on all of their straight size stuff, which is things that aren't plus size, if people have never heard that term before.
Yeah.
And just things like that. I mean, there's so many places that we can't just go get clothing. And so I had to try on all of these different waterproof jackets. They're usually so tight in the arms, and they don't have any kind of shape, and they don't fit like around. You can zip them up comfortably and have other layers underneath. And that's supposed to be the largest size, like if you're larger, I'm like a 22, 24. If you're larger than that, it's super hard to find anything.
Yeah. A lot of the times it's basically like they come up with a large size, and then they scale it down, and then they scale it up.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no like, well, okay, a 4X person's probably not going to have, a scaled up shoulder width the size of their stomach or something like that. But that's how they scale it. They just scale it like you're going to grow kind of exponentially out versus like, different parts of you are going to be different sizes and stuff like that. So
Yes, that has been very common. It's just, it's so difficult to find the clothing and even sort of the thickness that you might need of a shirt or a vest layer or something. I love my Columbia vests. I do shout them out for that.
Yeah.
But again, they only carry up to a 3X, I believe, still. And I'm at the very top of that. I mean, a lot of the stuff is more form-fitting on me. So that doesn't equal that it's inclusive, even though they have a 3X. And that's usually where most companies stop if they carry plus size. And so, especially with outdoor companies, having the gear for weather stuff or certain activities is so difficult to find.
Yeah.
And it does make you discouraged, because then you're like, well, I can't even dress the way I need to do this thing. So I guess nobody wants me there, and I guess I can't do it because, whatever reason, maybe I need that for safety, or I need, it's very discouraging, because then you just feel like I wanted to do that thing, but I'm being kept out of it.
Yep.
And it's upsetting.
Yeah, I know when I was younger, like skiing, having wider feet and stuff, the ski boots, all the rental places, the ski boots are all specific sizes, and they're all really thin. And when you're skiing and kind of, going like back and forth and stuff, like the torsion on your feet just gets like pretty unbearable. And so like I ended up switching to kind of doing snowboarding, because the snowboarding shoes are a bit more comfortable and forgiving and stuff than ski boots are just like so hard and just painful for me.
I've never done any snow sports. I don't know that I want to. I feel like it might be too cold.
Maybe we'll be getting you going up on the slopes, girl.
I don't know. It goes too fast. I don't like going too fast. That scares me, I think. It's just like
the speed.
The speed picking up. If it's just like just a slight incline, I think I'd be like, oh yeah, this is fun. But any kind of hardcore skiing and going down real fast, no thank you, ma'am. I don't want any part of that. I want to be on a little sled and have like some reindeer pull me. That's the kind of snow activity I want to do. I just don't know. Sometimes it looks fun, but then I also think about how cold it is, and I kind of just want to wrap myself in a blanket and drink hot chocolate and watch people ski. I'd rather do that.
Yeah.
Or have reindeer pull me in a little sled.
Just have a thermos of hot cocoa and ride the ski lift up and down just over and over again.
Actually, you know what? I could turn that out, because I would look fucking cute in a pink snowsuit thing. A cute belt, some faux fur, a cute beanie hat. I look cute in a beanie hat. I am great in a scarf. I could look so cute. But am I going to do some stuff? Ooh, I want some faux fur earmuffs. I have the outfit in my head. No, I would look cute doing it, but I would just ride that thing back and forth. Am I going to ski? No, I might get hurt, and I don't like that. Plus, I don't want to get my suit dirty.
Just yelling down at people, yeah, you go! Oh, sweet jump!
It's great up there! What do they say? What's something that a snow dude says? Like, something about the pack. The pack is good, or whatever.
Slopes are fast up there. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what they say. I have no idea what the fuck they say.
Yeah, I forget. It's been a long time since I've been.
But I could learn some of that shit, and I could yell it at people. And tell them they look cute, and be like, high five, weather's clear,
Yeah.
Slopes ahead. Yeah. I feel like I would also wear a t-shirt that said curves ahead, and it would have like slopes on it, so it seemed like I belonged, Yes, I would look cute, but I don't want to get hurt. Because the first thing that pops into my mind when you talk about skiing is like Sonny Bono, and I don't want to get hurt. Right, because he like hit a tree.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And
Yikes.
that's all I think about is like smacking into a tree, like cartoon style, but with bad consequences. So the big things, no, 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 no. I don't know how we got on that.
Yep, we're just talking about gear and
Gear.
so yeah, I mean we were concerned about the kayaking gear, whether or not
Mm-hmm.
it'd be able to handle us and things like that.
And
So
also kind of what to wear
yeah,
because I didn't know. There's not a lot of representation of plus size people in outdoor spaces, which we've kind of covered, but you don't see yourself in people doing that. There are some really great plus size outdoorsy people doing stuff, hiking, kayaking, doing stuff. And I'll try to find them and link them in the description
our
because I don't.
chiropractor does mountain
Yeah.
climbing.
Yeah, she's awesome. And she's actually doing a shoot right now, I think, for Outdoor Research, which is a outdoors clothing brand that has now expanded their sizes and carries plus size. I
Awesome.
haven't tried them yet, but I really want the pants. But they're like, again, it's like expensive. It's like $80 for the
Yeah,
pants.
yeah,
So everything is I feel more expensive in that entire space, but you just don't see yourself in a lot of that. And I've talked to some other plus size friends who were like, I didn't know that we could do that because I've never seen anyone that looks like me do it.
yeah,
So I feel like I can't even want to do it because I'm not welcome there and there's nothing to fit me there. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And so that was one of the things that really drew me to at least trying kayaking too, is not only did it look fun and sound fun and seem like something I could do, but I want to be someone that's doing it and saying, hey, guess what? You can kayak.
Yeah,
And like I did it and here's my experience and I'm like a size 22 to 26, depending on what's happening in life.
yeah,
So I want to see more of that representation of plus size people getting out there and doing stuff because they want to do it and they're excited about it and it makes them happy and not have any kind of connotation of like exercise or losing weight,
yeah,
but just existing in the world and doing stuff they want to do and in an outdoor space because we just don't see that very often. So I'm hoping that I can just add to that representation
hmm
and give my experience as a first time kayaker and help some other people. I want other people to do it because I think you should do it. If you've thought about kayaking before and you've wanted to do it, do it. Whatever size you are. It'll just be easier for you if you're thin
yeah,
because you'll be able to find a boat more easily and do all that stuff. But anyway, yeah, so like what did I want to wear? I did wear water shoes and an activewear set because I thought I was going to get a little bit wet. Turns out I totally got wet. I still think you should do it though. And I was telling my friend, you kind of have to let go of the idea of this is just kayaking based. This isn't even about bodies. You kind of have to let go of the idea of being graceful about any of it while you're figuring it out.
yeah.
I think you can get to a point where you're real graceful with the paddling. I felt really good about my paddling towards the end there.
hmm
But getting out of the boat, you're just going to have to know that it's not going to look graceful no matter what you look like. And you're just going to need some practice is all.
Yeah,
I think it'll be easier the more you do it,
yeah, yep,
quite honestly.
yep.
But don't sleep on kayaking. If you want to try it, go try it.
Absolutely.
Find a boat that will work. You're going to have to call those people and be like, hey, do you have a boat that'll fit me? What's your weight limits? Do you have sit on top kayaks? Because those are supposed to be kind of easier for plus size people.
Mm.
You're going to have to ask, but you should ask. You shouldn't feel shame about it. And you exist in the world. You deserve to exist in the world. And you belong in the world. And you should do things that bring you joy and that you want to try. So you deserve it. And you should try it if you want to.
Yes.
That's my main takeaway.
Yeah, and some places are already put up all the information you need to know. Like I went through, it's called joepaddle.com for Joseph, and they had all the information already. They got, the different types of kayaks they got weight limits for the different kayaks, whether they're one person, two person, or, one person can do a 2-person one, stuff like that. So they had all that information. Plus they had sizing for their flotation devices. So we were able to just see, oh, yep, they got sizes that'll fit, all that kind of stuff. So,
Oh, the life vests and stuff?
Yep.
Yeah, so see, that's a company that's thought about it.
Yeah.
They've considered other people besides thin people and put all that information there. And I will say, the people that we talked to, they were the owners.
Yeah.
Super nice.
Yeah.
No judgment whatsoever. Totally cool.
Yeah.
Super chill. Held my hand while I got in and out of the boat. Like, so nice. And no side eye, no weird looks. Because I was really concerned about maybe like a dude bro, like, okay, you're gonna go kayaking, this is your first time, oh my god, like that kind of guy. And I thought he was gonna give me the up and down, like, what are you doing here? And so it was nice that these were just super nice, friendly, non-judgmental people.
Yeah.
And I felt completely comfortable with them. They were just super friendly and really helpful and did the whole spiel and just, yeah, totally cool.
Yeah, I was kind of afraid, I mean, Joseph Oregon's like a ways away from kind of what you'd call civilization. It's
a drive.
Yeah, it's a ways out from like any major city and stuff. It's literally in like a glacier valley, so it's surrounded by these gorgeous mountains and stuff. But I kind of felt like the whole town was kind of, they had shirts that fit.
Yeah, I feel like every time we looked for a shirt or hoodie or something, all the stores, even this, I mean, this is a tiny town.
Yeah.
And they had little tiny stores. And everyone where we looked had a 3X.
Yeah.
At least. I think that one place had up to like a 4X. And like when we went into Glacier, that one souvenir shop had like 6X, which was,
yeah.
I was just cool. Like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. Because I always want a t-shirt of somewhere that I've gone to, and I've never bought one because they never had my size.
Yeah.
So I'd have to get a keychain or something. But it was so cool to wherever we went, they had up to a 3X that might fit us. And it felt nice to have that ability for once.
Yeah, absolutely.
To be like, oh, I want that t-shirt. Cool. They have something that'll fit me. I did get a cute hat too. I think it fits my big old head. So that's another thing. I have a larger head as well. I like to say it's because my brain's so big.
Absolutely.
Because it has a lot of information. But it's just a big head. It's just, I have a lot of hair.
And then the other activity we did is they have...
Oh, yes. It's the steepest gondola ride in North America.
There we go.
And this goes up 8,000 feet onto the top of Mount Howard. And then there's some hiking trails that you can get to viewpoints and stuff like that. Now, the gondolas, I don't know with the weight limit. I don't know if they have any kind of things happening there.
They just say how many adult people can fit in one. They don't give
specific
weight limits.
What kind of adult people? We don't know. For adult people, my question is, what are you assuming an adult person weighs? And therefore, how can I do the math to find out, is this gondola safe? Also, the doorway and the gondola itself were pretty small.
Yeah.
I don't know how 4 adult people would fit in there comfortably. You're going to be a bit smeeshed and get up close and personal with whoever you're riding in that gondola with. So I'm glad that it was just us two. It was comfortable. You could move around a little bit. Now don't go swinging the gondola. That's terrifying. But this gondola, I think anywhere from 20 to 120 feet off the ground, I believe is what it said.
Yeah.
And it takes 15 minutes to go up to the top. And very scenic. You can see over the lake, Wallowa Lake, where we kayaked. And all these other mountains and out to these canyons and stuff as you're ascending. It felt safe to me. I mean, I didn't feel weird about it. It is a little awkward because the dudes have to hold the gondolas real tight while you get in. And I felt like one guy was kind of an ass, but didn't really put it out there. I felt like he was judging me. First guy, the guy that was down at the ground.
Yeah.
So I didn't like his attitude, but it didn't put me off or anything. It didn't ruin my time or anything like that. So yeah, getting in's a little awkward. shuffling around, making sure everything's centered. Also a little awkward just because I don't like heights like that.
He didn't like me moving around.
No, I did not want him moving around. He would like shift, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? This thing is swinging. We do not want to fall off. And, it's on wheels, and the cables go through the little, I don't know what you call the T things, platforms or whatever. And that gets pretty bumpy and scary. Like, it just, I don't like heights a lot, so that part scared me. But I felt like it could accommodate me fine enough.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I had to super shimmy into the door, but it is a smaller opening.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got up there and, less oxygen. It takes a little bit. I started to get a headache at the end. I think we were up there for a couple hours. But 8,000 feet, so it's considered a high altitude. And then I think the highest we were at was 8,200 feet. That's when we climbed to the summit. I didn't think too much about, well, I take that back. I did think about being a fat person up there just because we had to get into a small gondola that I was worried about.
Yeah.
And, I didn't see any other fat people up there. And just as a fat person walking or hiking or doing any kind of outdoor activity, I always feel like I don't belong and people are going to say that I don't belong. So I'm kind of on the defensive already.
Yeah.
In certain situations. Because even when we were hiking at the Redwoods, that really tall, skinny white guy gave me that rude look. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Where he was like, shh, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that pissed me off. I almost turned around and went to lob him on the head. But I kept walking. I was sweating it out by then. Anyway, stuff like that does happen. But it doesn't happen as often as I think it will. And usually people turn out to be pretty nice and like non-judgmental. They don't make it a thing. And so sometimes I feel like because as fat people, we're so inundated with this message that we don't belong and that our body's wrong. We do sometimes internalize that, or quite often internalize that, and jump to that conclusion before we even experience something. And I think with this trip, I did catch myself like, that might be a little bit more internalized fat phobia on my part, thinking that everybody's going to think that I am a piece of shit for being there, and that I don't belong or whatever, going to make a big deal out of it. But, I also have those confirmation bias situations where people have said things and done things to me that make me worry about it in the first place. Yeah. So, I think it's normal and kind of healthy as a fat person to be able to be aware of what other people might say or do towards you so that you have a way of handling that you're comfortable with, because it might happen and you don't want it to ruin your time. You don't want it to completely ruin all of this stuff that you're doing and the fun that you could have. Because some asshole thinks you're too fat to be there? Obviously, he's wrong because you're there. And you deserve to take up space and you deserve to find joy and do what you love. And I want to keep saying that because we do deserve to be there. So, I guess that's where it's important to sort of stay more present and not be so caught up in how you think other people are going to respond to you that it kind of mucks up everything. Being more present, I think, allows you to just like interact with a person if you're interacting with them, instead of maybe drawing conclusions about how you think they're going to treat you. Does that make sense? Because I am high and I feel like I might not explain things very well.
Yeah. I think always, I mean, especially in nature, just be present and try and not bring any preconceptions with you. Just kind of be open.
Yeah, and I think, as I am helping my mental health and my nervous system heal from, decades of trauma, I feel like I am present more and not as anxious and caught up in all of that stuff. I think I can still feel it. It's not like I'm pushing it away, but I don't let it ruin everything for me. I don't dwell on it as much. And I think a lot of the times, like with this trip, it was like, okay, that sort of anti-fat person might be there and might make faces at me or say something to me. And I know that I can handle it and I know that I can do this stuff and I can't let it ruin. So my time, like sort of preparing myself,
Yeah.
but not dwelling on it and not letting it be something that was just so focused on that I didn't even enjoy my time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think I'm getting better at that the more that I work on myself and can stay present and more focused in the moment and just not worry so much.
Yeah, that's great.
But anyway, there were no other fat people at the top of the gondola. And we were just like, hey, we're setting off to look at the sights, right? So there's, less oxygen. I say we went kind of slow. I think we paced ourselves pretty well so we wouldn't get kind of overworked in that sense. Because I guess it's been since March since we did like a hiking vacation and a hiking time because it got too hot over the summer.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think all of that went really well. Nobody was super mean or judgmental or whatever. And usually I'm not even paying attention to people that much anyway. I'm like, there's some people over there. Let's wait till they leave so we can take photos. Because usually people are there for like maybe 5 minutes and then they'll move on. No matter what the view is. Even if it's just the most beautiful sunset you've ever seen that you don't think you'll see again. People are like, okay, I've seen it. Click, go. They only stay there for like 5 minutes. It's very rare that someone will stay there and watch the whole sunset. Trust me, we've been the ones that are there last, still watching the sunset. I just don't understand why you would leave and not stare at the fucking sunset. Anyways, I think sometimes some older couples will maybe make faces at us, but they won't say anything. And if they make eye contact with you, they'll be nice.
Yeah.
But, as a person, you can tell. You see that. You feel that energy. You know what it looks like when somebody's judging you. If you've dealt with that your entire life, So we were going up this steep part and, our fault. We should have gone the other way around. So we didn't do the hardest part of the whole hike in that particular way. See, we wanted to be going downhill, not uphill, but we went uphill. And this was a meandering uphill climb at 8,200 feet. It's not the easiest thing in the world. But as we're going up this hill, we pull off the trail just to rest and catch our breath and make sure that we're good. We drink some water, yada, yada.
Yep.
And I hear this guy at the top of the summit. Now, here's the other thing about people, especially white people in nature. They will talk so fucking loud and they will play their music and nobody wants to hear your fucking Justin Bieber. That was what someone was playing at Glacier on this hike. And I was so pissed off because I don't want to hear your music when I'm in nature. I want to hear nature. It has its own music and that's what I'm there to hear. Get headphones. That's what headphones are intended for. But I don't want to hear you talking either. I don't want to hear you talking on your phone to someone, or I don't want to hear about the date you went on. I just don't. So keep your voice down. But there's this guy at the top and he's like, hi, blah, 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 blah. He's talking to someone and then says that, oh, yeah, because the air pressure up here and the elevation, it's, pretty impossible for anyone with a high BMI to do. That's going to be really hard for them. Now, I don't know if he saw us, but he was right there and I could see him, so I know he could see me. And he wasn't a tiny fella anyway. He was like the biggest of his crew. And I was so pissed because I'm in the middle of walking up this hill. Like, I'm doing it. I'm in the middle of it. And you're standing up there like, oh, fatties can't do this. They shouldn't be here. I got so pissed and I said really loud, the BMI is bullshit, because it is. It is bullshit. And if you have a doctor that keeps bringing up the BMI, get a new doctor. It's bullshit. Anyway, I said that. The BMI is bullshit. And these fucking ass hats need to remember that. And I said it pretty loud and I hope he heard me. Anyway, as him and his crew are coming down, Sean and I are farther up the trail. We get off to let them pass. And dude can't even look me in the eye. Here's two fat people doing what you said they couldn't do. And I wanted to trip him and push him down the mountain. I didn't. I didn't even look at him. And guess what? We made it to the fucking summit.
Hells yeah.
And he can eat shit.
And it was an amazing view.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
But it's just things like that where people are, even at 8,200 fucking feet off the ground, there's some motherfucker telling me I'm too fat to do something that I'm in the process of doing. And also, he didn't walk up that fucking hill. He went the other way, so he was coming down the hill. So guess what? Fatty was doing more than you were, asshole. And I really wanted to say that to him, but I didn't. So you think a fat person can't do something? Fuck you. Watch him do it. It might just be me doing it. Just to prove you wrong. So, yeah, I just keep your mouth shut. You know what? Leave your judgment at home. If you're up there to enjoy nature, enjoy nature. You're 82... That was the other thing. You're 8,200 feet on top of a mountain, surrounded by all of these gorgeous views and these amazing, beautiful little chipmunks that will come up to you and look at you like you're just phenomenal. These chipmunks you got, oh my God. There's all of these cool trees that are growing specifically because they're so fucking high. So like, when are you ever going to see them again?
Yeah, yeah.
Just amazing stuff. And you're worried about other people's bodies? You're worried about the size of someone's bodies? You're going to bring up the BMI and shit? Shut the fuck up and pay attention. He's not in the moment. He's worried about other shit.
Yeah.
I guarantee I had a better time than he did. Guarantee.
Indeed.
Anyway, it's stuff like that really pisses me off. And that's what sparked, I guess, this whole podcast episode, because there was some shit to talk about from vacation that was brought up. And I was really mad. I got really pissed about that. Yeah. But once I made it to the top, I let it fucking go. Because guess what? I just climbed the fucking mountain. And I'm standing at the top and I'm not dead yet. So he can fuck off. And I had a great time. I took photos. I looked around. It was great. I'm like, you know what? That group of old people went up there and were there for 2 minutes and then left.
I know.
They're like, okay, we've seen it. What?
Yeah.
Just like that? You take a picture and you've seen it and you're gone?
I know.
It takes a 15-minute gondola ride to even get up there. And then you have to walk around. We walked like 3/4 of a mile around that whole thing.
Yeah.
And there's more trails that we didn't even get to because some of them are closed. But I just couldn't believe it. Just to be like, okay, yep, seen it. What?
Got it for the slideshow.
And you're not enjoying it. You need to like stand there.
Yeah.
You need to profess your undying love to some part of that scenery. It can't just be, whoop, all right, done.
Yeah. Yeah, we went out and we saw this Joseph Canyon, which is this beautiful, deep canyon from this overlook. And we were there, I don't know, we were probably there half an hour or something, probably. Mm-hmm. Numerous people came, drove up, got out, took a picture on their phone, got back in their car, and left.
Yeah, like that older couple got out and the guy was like, wow, that's impressive. Click. Very impressive. Click. All right, I guess we should get going. I'm just, what? Why aren't you memorizing the textures of the trees and the ground and the dirt and the way the rounded crevices are? Like, why aren't you looking at this shit, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, just go on.
Yeah, we got our sketchbooks out. We took some sketches.
Yeah, we did some sketches. We're gonna try to do watercolors, you guys. Yeah. You might find those on Etsy one day. Who knows? we're practicing. Yeah, it was enjoyable. We watched a storm roll in.
Yeah.
And we got in the car right when it started raining. We watched a storm roll in. These wonderful gray clouds. It was just, yeah. And I just don't understand. This has nothing to do with bodies. I just don't understand when people don't just take the time to look at it and really exist with the scenery and take it all in and give it some breath, you know? I just don't get click, jumping back in the car, let's go.
I know, like I've certainly gotten more interested in kind of like studying the formations and thinking about how they were formed over insane amounts of time and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah. And
even just kind of looking at it and seeing how, with these glacial canyon formations, it's pretty interesting because they're usually pretty steep. But then they have, these different kind of like sub-canyons within them and stuff that the water then flows down, which then that's where like a lot of the trees are. And it's very, very fascinating just kind of looking at it and just imagining how these things were formed, and yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I like imagining what the people were like who were there, like who came through or who lived there. Like Joseph Canyon, the Nez Perce tribe and Chief Joseph stayed in this canyon. They would go down lower at lower elevations for the winter, so it was less harsh, and live in this canyon. And so just thinking about like what life was like for whoever lived, wherever we're looking, and how they went about their day, what they wore, how did they cook, and just different types of jobs, like with a tribe or a village or something. Everybody had something that they did. It was a little community. I think a lot about that stuff, like what were the people like, what would they have thought of me? How would I have fit into that?
Interesting, yeah.
Village or something. I'd probably be dead because, like, I like electricity and running water. Plumbing is our friend. So, yeah, just things like that. And then sometimes it might give me some kind of fictional TV show kind of idea, like an Outlander situation where, what if I was that character? Like, what is some romantic idea of that landscape? So sometimes my mind will wander to, more luscious ideas. Yeah, I was hoping we wouldn't get Children of the Corn too, because there's a lot of corn out there. And we drove out to this we thought it was an abandoned town because we were going to do some sketches there. And it had like old dilapidated buildings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was pretty spooky because there's still curtains and lanterns and stuff in the windows of these dilapidated buildings. But when we got there were like people living in this little town, this little rundown town.
Yeah.
There was a lady out in her yard. She disappeared right quick, too, because I noticed when we turned around and came back through, she wasn't there. There's a cool little cemetery that we took some photos of.
Yeah.
We didn't want to stay because we didn't want to freak out whoever's living there. And also, we didn't want to get Children of the Corn. So we left. But, we did see a deer after that, which is cool.
Yeah.
And it was pretty country, like, the landscape, how everything changed from these rocky sort of open fields to these very tree covered, ponderosa pine covered mountainsides, or whatever you want to call them, canyon sides. I don't know, that the landscape was really interesting too.
Yeah, totally.
This podcast episode is about everything. We're talking anti-fat bias. We're talking just what we did on our vacation. We're talking about kayaking. We're talking about gondola rides. There's a lot going on in this episode. It's a little hodgepodge and everything. But I hope that we covered some stuff. Like maybe as a thin person, you've never thought of this. It's never dawned on you that when you go somewhere, you can always find underwear that fits you if you didn't bring your underwear. Me, not so much.
Yeah.
Like us plus size people, we can't go on a trip and expect to find something we need to wear when we get there, especially if we go to the UK or somewhere like that. In the US, it's a little easier, but not always. So just, there's so many different ways in which fat people continue to be discriminated against. And I think just being aware of it and being able to, be an ally to your fat friend is really important. And I'll try to include some different people with more education about that if you are so inclined to, read up on how to be a good fat ally.
Yeah, totally.
But we did have a great vacation. Thanks for hanging in with us. Sorry we weren't very consistent. There's a lot going on, and obviously my hand is like fucked up. So I can only do so much is the thing.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? Let people live. Let us live, as they say on the Deep Dive podcast, which you should totally listen to. Let us live. Let's do stuff. Let fat people be. Let them do stuff they want to do. Stop judging. Just let them do it.
Indeed.
And I hope that companies start making more, plus size gear. We exist. We're here. We're not going anywhere. Fat people have been around forever. And we want to do stuff and we want to have some fucking fun. So get off our backs and let us live. That's my thing. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Guess What? Hailey's fat and she's got some shit to say about it. That's the new name of the podcast. maybe it's educated you, maybe it's given you a different perspective. Maybe you're like, yeah, bitch, talk to us fat folks. We're here for this. We understand, we agree. We're going to go out there and we're going to kick some fucking ass by doing whatever the fuck we want with our bodies.
Fatty's gonna rock that yak.
Fatty's going to rock that yak. Oh my God, t-shirt idea. I got to work on t-shirts this winter. I want to get them ready for Christmas just in case anybody wants. What'd you say? Fatty's going to rock that yak?
Yep.
Okay, that's our call to fat people outdoors doing shit. I like it. I'll make that t-shirt. Fatty's going to rock that yak. Okay. Well, I also have this, I think it'll be a great art series of painted plaques inspired by my travels that I really want to work on this sort of fall, winter as well.
Yeah.
And it's sort of, travel related, so I'm excited to put that into physical reality and share it with everyone when it happens. But yeah, I'm very excited about that because it's just like, it's sort of, honoring that fat people can do stuff. That's my inspiration, that we can hike places and do fun things and we deserve to find joy and exist in our body. So that's sort of the inspiration for this whole series that I'm going to work on.
Cool.
So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back next week, I believe, for a little wrap up, and we have a really exciting podcast coming up. I'm not going to tell you about it yet, but we're recording it this weekend actually, and we're going to have a special guest. So please stick around. There's more to come this season of Hailey Hates Everything. You can follow us on Instagram individually or as a podcast. Dobby's getting up. This is always his time to get up and start shaking and telling us he's ready for dinner. So we're wrapping it up, Dob. You can check out my blog. You can email us. You can DM us. You can give us topic ideas. You can share thoughts and whatever stories that you have, maybe that have to do with this. If you had your own experience of, people talking shit when you're out trying to do an outdoor activity. Dobby's drinking water. I don't want him to ruin my thought process. I'm trying to get these words out and I'm very high. Or, share a time when you thought your body was going to be a problem and it wasn't. Like, that'd be great to hear. Or any kind of outdoor activity that you've done that you really love and think other people should try. I'd love to hear about that too. Anyway, you know how to get in touch with us, and everything else will be in the description box. I hate to say goodbye, but I'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Rap. It's a podcast rap.
Oh, my God.